CB on the mic. World Rule Talk. Yeah. CB break it down, yeah, the host with the vision. From the classics to the new, every film get precision. Obscure reels hitting gems, yeah, we dig in the vault. Every frame get examined, every angle we talk. From the old school grain to the high def shine. Indie flicks to the hits, yeah, we cover all time. If it's cinema gold, then you know we gon' say, hit subscribe, tap in, let the critics all play. Yeah, film talk strong, never fading away. World Rule Talk forever and a day longer.
Yo, what up though? This is your boy C. to the B. coming at y'all once again with another movie review. So today we're going to be talking about a random film. I meant to get with you guys yesterday because last week ended off the summer blockbuster and we're almost out of the month of July, coming into a new month. So I got to get my lineup ready for that. And we're going to be calling it The Businessman. So basically, we're going to be talking about movies about certain businesses that started and how the people came up and things like that. So until then, today, I'm going to give y'all just a random movie. This movie here, I haven't seen it in years, but I've thought about it for a long time. Like, I really wanted to talk about this movie, but I just never got around to doing it for some reason. But today, since I got the time and got the chance, we're going to talk about it. And that movie is The Guyver. So for those who don't know, this movie is actually an adaptation from the Japanese anime, in turn an adaptation from the Japanese manga. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't read the mangas, but I did watch one of the animes, Bio Booster Armor Guyver, which was dope. That was a good one. I haven't seen the others. I know it was several of them, but this is the only one I watched. So with this movie here, though, it's completely different. I mean, you still got the Zoonoids, but as far as, everything else, like I don't know, it's different. It's Americanized. You know what I'm saying? And you still got Guyver himself, of course. But in this movie here, this movie has a couple familiar faces in it. So this movie stars, of course, he has the, headline, you know what I mean? And that's Mark Hamill from the original classic Star Wars trilogy. You know what I'm saying? He also went on later on to do the voice of Joker in Batman the Animated Series, which was a classic. I love that anime. It has Jack Armstrong, which, even though he plays the main protagonist, Guyver, he's not the headline, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got Vivian Wu. Jesus Christ, her acting is just atrocious in this movie, man. Like, the scenes where she's crying in and all that, you could tell, man, ain't no tears coming out, man. Like, her acting was just awful. I mean, she might have improved, you know what I'm saying, over the years. But in that movie, it was just, I'm sorry, man. No. You got Jimmy Walker, a.k.a. JJ from Good Times. Now, his character is a Zoonoid in this movie. Well, one of the Zoonoids. And he's like the comedic relief. You know what I'm saying? But he does a lot of whack-ass rapping. Like, oh, man. I was cringing so hard. I looked like a balled-up piece of paper on the couch. You know what I'm saying? It was, no. You also got David Gale. I seen him in some other stuff. He's a good actor, you know what I'm saying? Like, but in this movie, man, he chewed up the scenery to the point where it was just nothing left, man. Like, his acting was kind of over the top in this movie. Like, for real. It really was. And then you got Michael Berryman. Oh, and David Gale, I almost forgot. For some reason, to me, he looks kind of like Howard Lincoln. I don't know if he does to y'all or not, but he looks like Howard Lincoln a little bit. And for those who don't know, Howard Lincoln was the American chairman of Nintendo for a little while. You know what I'm saying? Well, he got that position later on. But you also got Michael Berryman, which the first movie I ever seen him in was a scene in Double Dragon where they had like this large gang meeting and Koga Shuko showed up. And when he tried to defy Shuko, Shuko killed him. You know what I'm saying? And he was also in The Hills Have Eyes. He was a big celebrity back in the day, man. He was one of those go-to guys. He's a great actor, though. You know what I'm saying? Depending on his role, I guess. But I think he did fine in this movie. But yeah, man. So basically, in this movie right here, the origins of the Guyver is different than the anime. So in this movie right here, Jack Armstrong, he's a student in an Aikido class or whatever. And one of his co-students or one of his like fellow students, you know what I'm saying? Like he I guess he's like his bully or something like that. You know what I mean? Because when they had to spar, dude straight up punched him in the face. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, you could tell that he wasn't really a great student. You know what I'm saying? His training was kind of mediocre. You know what I mean? But later on, after Vivian Wu's character, Mitski is her name, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Finds out that her father died by Max Reed, aka Mark Hamill's character. You know what I'm saying? This is where, for the rest of the movie, her acting is just dead. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's crying, she's in distress and everything like that. And at one point, she even gets kidnapped. But Sean, aka Jack Armstrong's character, the main character, supposedly, you know what I'm saying, at the class, because he was going to get Misky a ride home until she found out the news that her father was killed. You know what I'm saying? So he sees the cops and everybody else at the scene, like the EMTs and all that at the scene, and he's pretty much eavesdropping on what's going on. Because Misky's father, the reason why the reason why he died is because he had the Guyver unit. You know what I'm saying? So what he did was, before the Zoonoids got their hands on it, he switched it out with the toaster. And so after the Zoonoids, thought they found the unit, they took it back to Kronos, you know what I'm saying? Kronos headquarters, which was ran by David Gale's character, Fulton Balkis. And when he opened up the briefcase, it was a toaster. And that right there, that scene had me dying. I don't know why, but he was just like, is this supposed to be a joke? Or whatever he said. I don't remember the exact words, but it was hilarious, man. And so he's like pretty much the head of the entire Kronos corporation, I guess. Or we thought he was, because of the second movie. We'll talk about that one later, but you know what I'm saying? And so we cut back to Sean. And so as he's, making his way home, he stopped. I guess his bike died or something. I'm trying to remember, but for some reason he was in this alley, and some guy popped out, started harassing him about his bike or his moped. And then the rest of the guys that he was with came out of nowhere, was coming out of the woodwork, and then they started fucking with him. You know what I'm saying? So one of the guys that was in that group was actually one of his fellow students, the same dude that was basically bullying him in class. And so they start, whooping on him, roughing him up and all that. And then the Guyver unit fell out of his book bag because he had found it earlier that night. You know what I'm saying? After class. And so they started like pounding on him. And then when they kicked him into the ground, his face accidentally fell onto the unit, which the unit absorbed itself inside of his body. And then right then and there, he became the Guyver. And so he pretty much made quick work out of them dudes. And so at this point, the Zoonoids, they thinking since Misky is the daughter of the professor, or the scientists that they killed, they automatically assumed that she knew where the unit was. So that's why they kidnapped her. You know what I'm saying? But before they kidnapped her the first time, though, Sean was able to, get her back. And then Mark Hamill's character, Max, he's a FBI agent in this movie. Or not FBI, but CIA in this movie. So, you know what I'm saying? He starts helping them trying to figure out, what's going on or whatever. And so Sean's teacher shows up at the apartment where Misky lives because, you know what I'm saying, she heard the news and everything and wanted to comfort her. And Sean steps out. And when he comes back, you know what I'm saying, this is where we find out that they kidnapped Misky. But he walks into the apartment and his teacher is dead. You know what I'm saying? The apartment is wrecked. And then that's when he figures out that they took Misky. So he did get her back. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, Max is trying to help them figure out what's going on. But I'm gonna fast forward a little bit though. They do encounter the Zoonoids again. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to run away from them. And there was one scene too where the Zoonoids was chasing them, and JJ, you know what I'm saying? I'm calling him JJ, Jimmy Walker. His character, you know what I'm saying, Stryker, that's his name in the movie, jumps over this wall as the Zoonoid because he transformed, I guess, to, gain the advantage. And so he encounters this woman and she starts screaming, right, when she sees him. And she's screaming for a long, long time. You know what I mean? She's supposed to be the scream queen. And it turns out that it was a movie set. You know what I mean? But the thing that had me scratching my head was this. It's like, okay, you know what I'm saying, giving Stryker direction on the scene, well, for the scene, because you thought he was supposed to be the creature that was playing in this movie. But I'm like, so y'all don't know what y'all's own creature looked like. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of like the silliness of that scene, because it's like, you would think that the creature in the movie looked a specific way. You know what I'm saying? And they thought that Stryker was supposed to be in that movie, which I know this is just a movie, but still, you know what I'm saying? I just thought about that. But anyway, they're in like this warehouse or whatever. And so, they confront Sean, Max, and Misky. And this is where Misky gets kidnapped again for the second time. And so Sean, he's begging them to let her go. You know what I mean? Because they still don't know that the Guyver is a part of him yet. You know what I mean? And so they, was going to take Misky away again until Sean reveals himself as the Guyver. And so now Sean is fighting all the Zoonoids or whatever, and he pretty much easily washes them. You know what I'm saying? And so this is where what's his name comes in at. You know what I'm saying? The lead Zoonoid played by Michael Berryman. You know what I mean? And so he's fighting Sean. His name is Lisker in this movie, by the way. You know what I'm saying? But he starts to fight Sean, and then he gets the upper hand. You know what I'm saying? After Sean, thinks that he accidentally killed Misky. But he winds up killing Lisker's girlfriend instead. You know what I'm saying? And so my thing was, Misky, I don't know if she was playing dead or what, or she was knocked out, but he used the elbow blade to, you know what I'm saying, kill Lisker's girlfriend, which Misky should have said something, because that's the reason why Sean was pretty much killed the first time. Yes, spoiler alert, the Guyver was actually defeated in this movie. You know what I mean? Because what happened was the little like ball or whatever that's in the middle of the Guyver's head, Lisker ripped it out. You know what I'm saying? Which caused the Guyver and Sean to pretty much dissolve into nothing. You know what I mean? And so they take Misky back to the Kronos headquarters where the laboratory was. And when she wakes up, after David Gale's character, you know what I'm saying, awkwardly starts touching her, you know what I mean? He wanted to know how Sean activated the Guyver, because now he went from looking to the Guyver, he finds out that Sean has it, and he wants to know how it could be activated. And so Misky refuses to tell him anything because she doesn't know. You know what I mean? Which pretty much anybody who watched the movie knows how he activated it. All he said was, "I am the Guyver." You know what I'm saying? And so he's taking her through the laboratory. He's introducing her to like the scientists and all that that her father worked with. And so this is where, you know, Sean comes in, because Max, he was also taken away. You know what I'm saying? And he's in like this tube or whatever. And I think they're trying to like transform him into, or turn him into a Zoonoid. But what happened was he was freed by Sean. You know what I'm saying? When Sean came in, and because he wasn't in the tube long enough, something happens to him later on, but we'll get to that. So Sean now is you know what I'm saying, fighting the Zoonoids again. You know what I'm saying? This time getting the upper hand. Because for the second time, Lisker was going to try to rip the ball out of the middle of his head. But then he had like this chest laser that came out. You know what I'm saying? That he shot out and destroyed him instantly. And so, wait, was that? I think that was Lisker too. No, it wasn't Lisker. No, it wasn't Lisker. He did that. So he killed Lisker though. You know what I'm saying? But what happens is he frees Max, and then they try to get away, but something starts to happen. Max, you know, he falls to the floor, and he starts to feel these pains. And then out of nowhere, like this tail or whatever grew out of his backside, and then he just starts transforming into like this big roach looking thing. And then that's pretty much how he died, because he wasn't inside the tube long enough for the transformation and things like that to be complete, to become a Zoonoid. And so now it's down to David Gale's character, Fulton, and Sean, you know what I'm saying, the Guyver. And so, because what happened was how Sean came back. I forgot to mention this part. Sean, you know what I'm saying, of course, he dissolved into nothing after Lisker rips the ball out of his head the first time. But that ball was actually Guyver, like reincarnated. So he pretty much came back that way, you know what I'm saying? And so, yo, the Guyver's pretty much immortal, you know what I'm saying? But he comes back, and now the final fight between him and Lisker, not Lisker, but David Gale's character, Fulton. Like, he's like this ultimate, like, Zoonoid, the Zoolord, you know what I'm saying? And so he's like this big ass, I don't know, demon looking thing. And so he claims to be like the ultimate, like, entity or whatever. But my thing is, if you're all powerful and you know that you're all powerful and everything like that, why did you want the Guyver unit? You know what I'm saying, in the first place? But I think that would have added to his power or something like that. He did mention, but Sean winds up killing him, you know, getting the upper hand, and he kills him with the chest laser. And so the movie pretty much ends by Sean returning to his, you know, human self or whatever. And Vivian Wu's acting is still bad, but yeah, man, that was pretty much the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying? And what I think was the acting in this movie, the acting was not all that great. You know what I'm saying? The budget for this movie, it was pretty decent. You know what I'm saying? I will say that. Like, the suits, the special effects and everything like that, it was pretty good. You know what I mean? But yeah, I feel like some of the characters in this movie were definitely miscast. Vivian Wu, you know what I'm saying? Jack Armstrong, his character was, I would say, it wasn't really a standout, even though he was the main protagonist. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't a standout. His acting was kind of like Wood a little bit, but it was better than Vivian Wu's acting. You know what I'm saying? Mark Hamill, his acting was pretty good in this movie. I'm assuming because he already had experience from, way back when. But yeah, man. So the ending to this movie, like the very end of this movie, is when Mark Hamill's boss, Max's boss, you know what I'm saying, standing with Stryker, aka JJ, in his Zoonoid form. You know what I'm saying? And he's telling him that he has a job for him. You know what I'm saying? Which we never knew what it was because when the second movie came out, neither one of them had anything to do with that. So yeah, man, I definitely give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. You know what I mean? I love movies like this. It's kind of like a tokusatsu thing. And this was before Power Rangers. I mean, you still had the Super Sentai series back then, but this is before Power Rangers came over here. This was 1991. You know what I mean? And I'm going to say this one last thing. The poster of this movie lied to you. So they got Mark Hamill on the poster, and like it's half of his face and the other half is the Guyver. So they make you think he's the Guyver. You know what I'm saying? I guess because at the time he was the biggest name in the movie. So yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, yo, definitely check it out. You know what I'm saying? Give it a watch. You can watch it on Tubi. But if you don't want to watch this one and want to jump straight to the second one, you might not want to do that. You might want to get an understanding of what's going on in the first one first. Even though in the second one, you know what I'm saying, there's everybody, I think Vivian Wu might be in the second one. I forgot. I don't remember. In the beginning somewhere. But yeah, it's a completely different cast in the second one. But yeah, definitely watch the first one. You know what I'm saying? Just try to suffer through it. I'm sure you'll get through it though. But yeah, trust me, the second one is like a reward for watching the first one. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is my review for Guyver. So stay tuned next week, the first Wednesday of August. We're going to be talking about a movie. Hopefully I have my lineup by then. I should, but we're definitely going to be jumping into the Businessmen. So stay tuned for that, and I will talk to you guys later. All right? Peace.